So in this video, I'm going to talk about the mother wound, right? The mother wound is a topic we rarely hear about, that people rarely talk about. You probably are hearing about the mother wound for the first time here in this video, or maybe you heard about it before, right? So, society has conditioned our minds to think that mothers cannot do wrong and we must always love them unconditionally no matter what, and they should always be greatly appreciated no matter what, and they are always right, and they know best, and just because they are a mother they should be praised and they should be validated automatically. Society has conditioned us to believe that mothers are always looking out for the development of their children, child growth, and the success in their children's life. But at the same time, you're hearing, like, on the media or in society, in your community, wherever it is, that fathers are bad, that there are no good fathers out there, that there are deadbeat dads, that the fathers, all they do is drink with their money. They're not taking care of the child. They're not providing. They're not protecting. They're whatever it is. And all of these scenarios could be true, right? There are bad fathers out there. There are bad mothers out there, right? All of these scenarios could be true. But it's just that so often we're hearing about mothers always being right and that they can't do wrong. And most of the time when you hear about fathers, you hear that they are no good. So this could automatically make you think that mothers are doing right just because they are in the child's life or just because they are in the children's life, right? And I'm not saying that there are not amazing mothers out there or there are not amazing fathers out there. There are amazing parents out there, both mother and father. I'm just trying to show the programming and the conditioning that society has created, the media or whatever, to having us thinking that mothers always know right and they are always good and they always know best. Just because somebody become a mother, it doesn't mean that they are a good mother or they care about their child or anything like that, right? So, to begin this video, you might realize, you may not realize how having a toxic mother or a dysfunctional mother can deeply affect you until you become an adult. You could start to realize subtle issues about yourself or about the interactions you have with other people or just your success in life or your romantic relationships or relationship at work, wherever. You start to realize that this relationship with your mother could have some negative effects on you, on your life, and on your success, right? So the mother wound is an attachment trauma that creates a sense of confusion and devastation in your mind, right? So the interaction you have with your mother, the way that she raised you, that bonding process that was happening while you were growing up, that unfortunately manifested deeply rooted beliefs or thoughts that made you feel or believe like you are unloved, abandoned, unworthy of care, unworthy of attention, unworthy of safety or whatever. You believe that you are not good enough, that you are not important, that her needs and her desires come before yours. You just felt like her feelings and what you think always come before you are is more important than what you're thinking and feeling, right? So the mother wound would affect your adult relationships, it would affect your mental health, it would affect your success in life, right? And all of this bonding process or your upbringing and whatever happened to you, all the experiences are all like stored in the subconscious mind. So everything that happened to you, all your feelings, all your thoughts, and all your reasoning just like went to the subconscious mind. So it's happening unconsciously. You might not realize that you have a mother wound, right? So now I'm going to give you situations that may have caused you to have a mother wound, right? So this could also be looked at as, or you could use what I'm going to say now to see signs of a toxic mother or signs of a dysfunctional mother, right? So things that could have caused you to have a mother wound is that your mother was extremely critical. She could have been a perfectionist and had high expectations of you, and this could have made you feel bad about getting things wrong, about not getting things perfect, and you would have been worrying a lot about making a mistake, and you would always be afraid to like make mistakes, and that would prevent you from taking risk as an adult, right? This could have made you become critical to yourself, having negative thoughts. She always pointed out your mistakes, was negative with you, cruel and harsh with you, probably was never satisfied with your accomplishments, could be with your academics, could be with your extracurricular activities. She belittled you, she shamed you, she blamed you for things that didn't go as planned. That is having a critical mother, and that is toxic, and that could have created your mother wound. And there are effects of having a critical mother, and I would a critical mother, right? And I will go into the effects of actually the consequences of having a mother wound, right? But for this critical mother, this could cause a high risk of you having depression in adolescence or adulthood, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, lack self-confidence, generally just doubt yourself, hopeless about your ability to succeed in life. You will compare yourself to others all the time, personally and professionally. You will constantly look for external validation. You need people to tell you good job. You need people to validate you. You would not be able to take constructive criticism well at work, at home, with your partner. You could keep problems to yourself due to fear of being like criticized. You could have been really delinquent. You could have conduct problems. That is why you see when some children were placed under a lot of pressure to perform academically, and some of them eventually just turn delinquent, have conduct problems, eventually just lack motivation to like succeed. They could become defiant, they could withdraw, and you could even develop an insecure attachment style, right? And a little criticism is helpful in life to reflect on your past mistakes, to learn how to improve in different areas of your life. And criticism intended with like really give criticism with a good intention to help you improve and to inspire you is great and is wonderful, and parents should do that. But when parents or your mother criticize you just to control you or just to belittle you, that is where the problem comes, and that is where the mother wounds start to develop, right? The second way is that your mother didn't allow you to express negative emotions. Didn't like she was an emotion dismissing mother. Emotion dismissing is like when your mother or parent ignore, deny, or just trivialize what you are experiencing and your emotions, especially if it's negative, like you're angry or frustrated or something, right? So they will belittle you, so you would not express your negative emotions, and they could say things like, it's not a big deal, you shouldn't feel that way, it's not important, get over it, move on, don't be so sensitive, why are you so sensitive, suck it up, cheer up. Get over it already. Stop crying. That's nothing to cry about. I'll give you something to cry about. All of these things, those are ways of like dismissing your emotion or trivializing your experience or your expression, right? So this should not help you to understand your emotions or manage your emotions. And why parents do this is maybe because they were raised just like that, and they are passing passing this down from generation to generation. They might not understand your feelings. They might not understand why you're upset, and they just don't want to face that, and they just dismiss it, right? So that's the second way that a mother wound could be formed, or that's just a sign that you had a toxic mother if she dismiss your emotions and trivialize your experiences, right? The third way that mother wound could be created is your mother was not empathetic with you, lack understanding, or even sympathy, right? Wasn't there for you on an emotional level, and just was not able to understand or like consider what you're experiencing. Or she could have been inconsistent in expressing love or understanding, or just giving you a consistent sense of warmth that she will always be there for you. So unfortunately, this creates a whole bond between you and her, and that is how the mother wound is created, with lack of empathy. Now, when you grow up, you may not know how to have empathy towards others, even before you grow up. Some young people today, you are insensitive, you are cruel, you are callous, you disregard the feelings of others, you are heartless, you are uncaring and cold-hearted. And I just need to walk in the street and I could see how young people are so cold-hearted. And it's because your mother probably lack empathy for you, lack sympathy for you, because that is what they mirror to you, and then now you are like that, cruel and insensitive, right? The next way that a mother wound could be created is your mother provided all the basic needs for you, but did not provide love, care, attention, and security. Those are emotional needs I talk about in previous videos. Like, you could check the video mistakes your parents made for more information on emotional needs. So just having your physical needs provided can create mother wound because your emotional needs would be neglected, right? We'll not get into that now because I already did a video on that specific topic. The next way a mother wound could have been created, or a sign that you had a toxic mother, is that your mother was not available because she had to work a lot, or she was just really busy with her own like interests, and that also would have like you to have a lack of emotional needs. Your emotional needs would not be met, which is like in the previous point I just made. It's like the same. Another way is that your mother was a drug addict, or just an alcoholic or something like that, and maybe also have some sort of mental issues, right? So those are some ways, and I go on two more ways, but those are a few ways that a mother wound could be created, or that are signs that your mother is toxic or dysfunctional. And both daughters and sons can both experience mother wound, but it seems as if it mostly affects daughters. Like, more girls have mother wounds, right? Yes, fathers could be guilty of all of these that I just mentioned, all of these behaviors, but this is just how I decide to present this video, right? Not focusing on fathers in this video. A separate video will be done talking about fathers. Anyway, situations that cause mother wound, continuing on, is that your mother expressed her anger in a negative way by calling you names, yelling, screaming and shouting at you, insulting you, bringing you down. She may have been even violent to you, put her hands on you, abusive with you, physical abuse, along with verbal abuse. And that's how you develop fear. Growing up, you develop anxiety. You become violent yourself. I see this all the time. You become violent just like her, and you don't know how to deal with conflict. And you also use obscene language, which she probably use obscene language on you also. So that's another way. She expressed her anger in a negative way by calling you names, insulting you, using obscene language, being violent, aggressive with you, screaming, yelling, calling you names. That created your mother wound, and that's a sign that your mother is toxic and dysfunctional. The other way is that your mother expected you to drop everything you're doing for her and attend to her needs even though you have your own life, right? If you try to say no, she might respond with anger. She might criticize you or try to make you feel guilty or try to make you feel bad for not tending to her needs or for not doing the things that she asks you to do when you have your own interests or your own life to deal with. So it's like gaslighting, and it's like manipulating you to get what you want, right? So I did a video on toxic mothers. You should check out that when I get into gaslighting and being manipulative in that video. So she just tried to change your thoughts, try to change how you feel, and try to change your behavior so it could benefit her, and that could create a mother wound, right? So the other way mother wounds are created, or you have a mother wound, is because your mother refused to apologize, right? She failed to take responsibility for her actions, and just don't take accountability for what she have done wrong. And she did things that were hurtful to you and were wrong, and just expected you to just brush it off like nothing happened and just sweep things under the rug and act like she didn't do anything wrong. And because she's your mother and she thinks that she owed you, it's okay to just do wrong things and carry on like nothing happened. Then you are left there hurt and angry with no way to express your feelings, and you are left feeling wronged. You feel frustrated and just like helpless because nobody else is there to stand up for you. You try to stand up for yourself and she would not apologize, and you just feel like you're in this unfair situation. Feelings of injustice a lot, not apologizing to you, and it keeps building up and you could get resentment. Then you might apologize for things that is not your fault, just to keep peace, just to make her happy, and then you eventually think that you're a bad person and that you are the wrong person. That is getting manipulated, that is getting gaslighted also. Not apologizing creates mother wound, and that is also a sign that your mother is dysfunctional, right? So people are not perfect. If your mother did some of these mistakes, that does not mean that she don't love you or she is toxic or she is dysfunctional. All of these things that I just mentioned, people could make mistakes, they could do it. It doesn't mean that they are toxic. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. All of these mistakes that mothers could make, but I'm just saying that they're still human. But when it goes on continuously for many months and years, that is where the wound is created, and that is where the problem is, right? Your mother is still a human being. It's perfectly normal to fall short sometimes, to make a mistake, to get angry is normal. Your mother could get angry here and there, that's normal. She could be busy at work, that is normal. She might not understand your feelings, that is also normal here and there. She might dismiss because she's too busy or she's focused on a different issue. And that is normal. She's a human being. It's just a problem when it's ongoing and it's repetitive. That is where the wound is created, right? That is what I'm trying to say here in this video. I'm not trying to make you create bad feelings towards your mother. I'm not trying to bring down mothers, demonize mothers. I'm not against mothers or anything like that, right? So this video is just to create awareness. as always, as I mention all the time. Anyway, consequences of having a mother wound. Consequences of having a toxic, dysfunctional mother is one of the first ones is low esteem needs. Low self-esteem, low self-worth, lack of self-confidence, general self-doubt, bad self-concept, lack willpower, lack strength and resilience in life when obstacles come up, lack respect for yourself, lack respect for others. You feel like you're not good enough. You're not good enough at home. You're not good enough at work. You're not good enough in your romantic relationship. You're not good enough in friendships. Feeling unworthy. All of these are like esteem needs. They are low and you lack them. You generally think that you're not desirable, that you're not, you generally think, you have this concept, self-concept in your mind that you're not loved, you're not chosen, you're not seen, you're not heard, going through life. And all of this happens subconsciously, right? I have videos on how to fix self-esteem. I have a video on the not good enough wound. I have a video on self-worth. I have a video on people-pleasing. And I have videos on how to cope with insecure attachment styles, right? Anxious and avoidant, right? So esteem needs are very important. Esteem needs are important because it helps you to have a healthier and happier, more successful life, right? It's the key to positive mental health and well-being. Having esteem, like having self-esteem, self-confidence, high self-worth, and good self-concept, knowing your worth and all of these things, knowing you're valuable, can help you to develop coping skills. Right, so when you go through different obstacles or different issues in life, like you get dumped, you had a rough day at work, you go through a rough time, you have moments in life where things are not going well, having self-esteem and all of these esteem needs that I just mentioned could help you to tolerate and minimize and even deal with all of these stressful situations that are going to come up in your life, right? Having these esteem needs help you to handle adversity, right? It helps you to deal with difficult and unpleasant situations which are going to come up in your life, like losing a loved one, rejection, breakup, struggling in career, economic hardship, poverty, exposure to violence, crime. Illness could come up, you could lose your job, bullying. You could, when you have esteem needs, when you have self-esteem, self-confidence, good self-concept, you know your self-worth, you know your value, you know your worthy and all of these things. You have strength, you have resilience to go through life. You will be able to put the undesirable things that are happening to you in perspective. You would know how to reason and go through these undesirable circumstances in a healthy manner. Knowing how to cope with stress, you will be better at coping with stress, anxiety, pressure from school, pressure from work, pressure in romantic relationships, in your romantic relationship, right? So, with these esteem needs, you would, instead of feeling hopeless, instead of feeling stuck, instead of feeling unworthy, blaming yourself, doubting yourself, you are likely to look for what you can change and what you can improve in whatever you need to do in your work or whatever, instead of feeling like a failure and creating more and more negative thoughts. And you would not be entrenched with negative feelings about yourself. You would have self-esteem, you will believe in yourself, you have self-confidence, you know your talent, you know you're capable, you have resilience to overcome obstacles in life, right? You would be able to adapt and to adjust and to regenerate yourself through all the challenges that you're going to meet in life. That is why esteem needs are important. Self-esteem, self-worth, knowing your value, self-concept, willpower, strength. You need resilience. You need to respect yourself. You need respect for others. You need to know your worth, right? All of these are very important, right? And that's the consequence of having mother wound and having a dysfunctional mother, a toxic mother. Damages all of these, right? If you build self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, and all of this, you will stay motivated to accomplish your goals, right? Whatever academic goals you have, or whatever, having these can just lower the chance or protect you from anxiety, depression, help you cope with stress, because you would feel more satisfied, you would feel more fulfilled in life, stable, and you will be able to adapt and maintain a good enough attitude through all of these obstacles that you're going to meet in life. You will feel secure in yourself, and that is very important, right? You will be more positive because you would have positive affirmations going on in your head. You would have a good dialogue in your head, right? A good self-concept. You will be more resilient to overcome obstacles that may come up while you're trying to reach your goals, right? You will be happier. You will be happier at your job. You will be happier in your relationships, at work, your relationship with your romantic partner. You will be happier because you are stable. You know your worth. You respect yourself. You would have a low chance of having emotional problems, eating disorders. It's really subtle. Like, all of these things that happen to you when you are growing up, in your upbringing, raising you, bonding with your parents, especially your mother, damages self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, and knowing your value and knowing your worth, right? And it's really important to have a supportive upbringing where your needs are met, your thoughts and your feelings and your contribution and your ideas are valued, right? Your peers also influence your outlook in life, and you should have good role models growing up, right? So as I was talking about eating disorders, it's because of low self-esteem. It's because of lack of self-confidence. It's because of not knowing your value. It's because of believing that you're unworthy. That is why you eat so much. That is why you have stress. That is why you abuse drugs, and that is why you are alcoholic. That is why you have social anxiety. That is why you harm yourself. You have risky sexual behavior. You drive drunk. Many things people do because of low self-esteem. Like, you don't know that you have low self-esteem, low self-worth. You don't know your value. You have a bad self-concept. You lack willpower. You lack strength, resilience to overcome obstacles. So you go eat, and you go and drink, and you go and smoke, and you go work long hours or whatever. I don't know what you do to comfort yourself. And it all comes from lack of respect for yourself, not knowing your worth, no confidence, low self-esteem, lack willpower, lack resilience. So you just go eat and eat and eat and eat and become obese. Most women. Not most women, but women will go to overeating. Men will mostly go to like drinking, drugs, substance abuse, walking long, and whatever. Right? The another consequence of having a mother wound is that you lack emotional awareness. You're not in touch with your emotions because you suppress your emotions growing up, because sometimes there wasn't enough room for your feelings, because your mother's feelings and her emotions sometimes is just bigger and more important than yours. So you would suppress it, and you would like keep your thoughts and your ideas and how you feel inside and not express it, because It seems as if her feelings and her thoughts and her emotions were more important, or just were bigger than yours. Right? You weren't allowed to feel um you are trying to just go along with what your mother is feeling. You just didn't want to be considered to be like a bad child. So you suppress your emotions. And then when you suppress it, you have a lack of emotional development. You can become more aggressive. This could lead to stress, suppressing your emotions, anxiety, depression. And then you grow up and you are not aware of your feelings, thoughts, your ideas, and that leads you to not really knowing who you are, and it's hard to see other people's emotions. It's hard to have empathy with other people. Yes, right. So I have a video on consequences of suppressing your emotions. You could watch that to get more information on the consequences of suppressing your emotions, right? Next consequence of having a mother wound or having a toxic mother is you lack, as I was saying, you lack empathy and emotional intelligence, right? So your mother probably routinely dismiss your emotions, and this may have caused you to become callous to other people's suffering, and or you just feel no emotions, or you numb, you lack sympathy, you don't know how to have empathy, and you're hard and cold towards others. When people are feeling pain, you are uncomfortable, you don't understand why many things, and that is something that would be a problem, especially in a romantic relationship, right? If you lack empathy and you lack emotional intelligence and you find difficulty putting yourself in the other person's shoes to understand how they feel and to understand their perspective, right? So that is one consequence. The next consequence is that you lack identity. You don't know who you are. Your mother could have forced herself, like her personality on you, and wasn't really focused on your development and your growth as an individual, right? May not have given you emotional support when you made decisions, right? Forcing her decisions on you, forcing her ideas on you, forcing her perspective on you, wanting you to be like her. So now you lack identity, you don't know who you are. You are so concerned about pleasing her growing up that you made choices simply to gain her approval, and you didn't develop a sense of self. You have not become your own person, even up to today. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you like. You don't know your perspective on that. She didn't give you room and space to develop your own identity. That is a consequence of having toxic mother, dysfunctional mother, and a mother wound, right? Now, next thing is not knowing about how to manage your emotions. You do not know how to manage your feelings. Emotional regulation is difficult for you, which can, like when you don't know how to regulate your emotions, you could pent up anger, and when you keep anger inside, you keep building up, and resentment also build up with that. You could have outbursts, you could act out, right? You could also become disruptive, right? So you tend to, like when you don't know how to manage your emotions, you don't know how to self-soothe, which is a consequence of having dysfunctional mother wound. You tend to turn to bad self-soothing methods, like, as I mentioned before, drinking, smoking, overeating, undereating. Sometimes you don't eat, or you just eat unhealthy things just because you can't manage your emotions. Emotions overwhelming. You don't know how to deal with what you're thinking, feeling. So you have risky behaviors. You go gamble. You drink caffeine a lot. You go shopping, compulsive spending, overworking. Are you at work and you're just not productive, right? Those are methods we unconsciously, sometimes consciously use when we cannot manage our emotions. We just don't know how to soothe ourselves, then we just go eat. You don't know good ways to self-soothe, which would be when you're feeling mentally hot or you feel anxious, frustrated, angry, you could listen to your favorite music, listen to some good music, your favorite playlists, or you focus on breathing, you calm down yourself, or you figure out a breathing technique. Go for a walk to the park, go in the garden, go walk in a garden, or just validate. You could just validate your experience with some self-compassion. Notice your inner dialogue, correct it. Use language that is comforting and validating and with compassion in your mind. While you're going on the walk, maybe you don't go on a walk, you are at home. You light a candle, you relax, you listen to stress relief music. You could watch a comedy, whatever. These are healthier ways to cope with, like, when you get hot mentally or you feel anxious, frustrated, angry, stressed. These are healthy ways that you could self-soothe. But you don't know how to do that because your mother probably didn't teach you that these are things you could do. Maybe she did not know, right? So, continuing. Next consequence of having a mother wound or toxic mother is that problems in romantic relationships. You never learn how to trust, so you don't trust your partner. You don't know how to communicate effectively, right? I'm just going to just run through and list off the things that I see popping up more often. You don't know your needs in the relationship. You lack self-worth, bad self-concept, which would cause you to want reassurance over and over again. You're anxious, always jealous, or you dismissive, cold, withdraw. You don't know how to resolve conflict. You have angry outbursts. You don't take criticism well. You're extremely jealous, controlling. You're bossy. You cheat. You lie. You hide information. You're disrespectful. You use silent treatment. You're constantly looking for validation. You don't know how to show love. You lack empathy. You lack sympathy. You don't know how to reason. You lack compassion. You don't forgive. You use revenge, you're abusive, you use hurtful words, some people even put their hands on their partner. All of those problems probably came from you having a toxic, dysfunctional mother. You have mother wound, right? Problems in romantic relationship. Next consequence of having a mother wound is that you doubt yourself and you have trust issues. You were not taught that well. Sometimes what you see, what you hear, what you feel, she makes you think that it's not real. So that could cause you to not trust yourself, right? Your mother probably gaslighted you. I talk about gaslighting in other videos. Now you lost the ability to trust your own perception. You should know about gaslighting by now. Gaslighting is when somebody make you question your perception. They make you think that you lost your memory, they make you think that you're crazy, or they make you rethink your experience, or try to make you feel that you are wrong or that you're crazy, that you didn't experience what you did, and that your feelings, your ideas, and your thoughts are just like wonky or skewed in some way. That's gaslighting. It's very dangerous, it's very hurtful. And when you are being gaslighted constantly, you tend to not trust yourself, right? And then you have problems making decisions because, like, you fear you make a mistake. You doubt your capabilities. You also don't trust others around you. So that's why maybe in a romantic relationship and you just can't trust the people you're with, you don't trust yourself, right? That is another consequence. Other consequence of having a mother wound is that prone to anxiety and depression in childhood and in adulthood. Drug use, alcohol, promiscuity, difficulty with relationships at work, home, even platonic friendships, there are problems. often having conflict and arguments with your platonic friends, you could be at risk of post-traumatic stress disorder. And the last one I will mention is, if you're a parent, you probably find it difficult to like establish a healthy relationship with your own child. You raise them like how you were raised, and then there's a bonding problem, right? So those are consequences of having a mother wound. That is how it would show up in your adult life, right? Now, how to cope with having a mother wound and feel better? Well, first thing you should do is acknowledge and allow yourself to feel all the feelings. I explained this in How to Forgive Someone. You should check out that video. How to forgive anybody that hurt you. I explain how to do that. I will just briefly touch on it. It's like, this is one of the first process. You have to acknowledge and accept how you feel, which you could feel ignored, unloved, unwanted, not valued, unseen, not heard, not important, disrespected, disregarded, invalidated, wronged when they don't apologize. You could be feeling all of these and many more that I can't mention right now, right? You have to acknowledge that you feel this. Like, you need to bring it up, right? You could do this by yourself. You could do this with a family member you trust. You could do this with a platonic friend you trust, right? You could get therapy if it's really overwhelming, and you think that is something you need to do. Counseling, if you feel like this wound is really hurtful, it's too hard to handle, you could go to therapy to fix yourself, to fix the relationship. You and your mother could go there. If you have anxiety, depression, you should really try to get help, right? Next thing is to develop a better self-concept, which is like, just work on the esteem needs. Just work on self-esteem. You need to work on self-worth. You need to work on self-confidence, self-respect. You need to know your value. You need to build resilience in life to deal with different obstacles and issues. Unfortunate things are going to come up in life. You need willpower and you need strength. So you need to build all of these esteem needs, right? So your interaction with your mother could have damaged all of these, and you need to learn to validate yourself and create a more positive emotional and mental picture of who you are, and like also work on your identity. You might not really know who you are, right? And during this process of developing better self-concept, self-esteem, and self-worth, you should use affirmations that are targeting your limiting belief. Affirmations that you know will help your situation specifically, right? Examples of affirmations would be, well, some of these affirmations will be examples like, if you have a toxic mother or dysfunctional mother, or you realize you have a mother wound, most of the affirmations would be like, most of the good affirmations you would use would be like, I am worthy, I am enough, I am deserving, I am important, I deserve love, I deserve to be happy, I deserve to enjoy my life, I'm a good person. You might think that you're a bad person. I am beautiful, I am capable of great things, I am intelligent, I am fun, people like talking to me, I am unique, I am not a burden, my needs matter, I deserve to take care of myself, I am lovable, I am attractive, I am capable, I am talented, I value myself. Many other affirmations that I can't mention right now. Those are just ones I picked specifically to people who would have a mother wound or is suffering from the consequences that I just mentioned, right? So another thing you could do to cope with this and to feel better and to have a better life is with your mother and yourself is to set boundaries. You have to try to find ways to create a better relationship with her if it is possible, right? Or maybe it's not possible. You could develop rules and just or limit interactions if you believe that she will never change, or if you believe that there's no hope for the relationship, you might have to create rules and boundaries. This is not going to be easy. It's not an easy process, but I'm just throwing out ideas of what you could do, right? The next thing, which is one of the most important thing, is to try to find a way to forgive and to release the baggage, like letting go of the past, letting go the upbringing, letting go the trauma that you have created, that was created in childhood, right? So you would have to accept, well, I talked about forgiveness already in a video called How to Forgive Someone. You should check that out. I mentioned that before. But in this video, it might sound like if I'm demonizing mothers, I'm bringing mothers down, and that I'm belittling mothers, or mothers are wrong or not important. That is not what I'm doing in this video, right? One of the main things, or what I'm trying to do in this video, is to help you to forgive and release this baggage. So I would say it is important to accept your mother, love your mother. She did not have an abortion with you. She carried you for many months. She gave birth to you, which is not an easy process. And she is just another human being, right? She is probably doing the best that she can, right? She has her own issues, her own battles, her own childhood trauma, her own emotional baggage, her own battles she's dealing with, right? We should not keep on judging them. We should stop blaming them. We should stop blaming them for our problems. We should take responsibility for our own life and stop expecting so much from her, right? Stop expecting her to act like you and think like you, right? Maybe you are expecting too much. That is why you are hurt now, and that is why you probably are continuing on with this mother wound, right? So I'm not against mothers. I'm not trying to bring down mothers. I'm not trying to always be negative here. But one of the most important things that you should get from this video is find a way to forgive and to release this baggage. And I'll mention again, there's a video on how to forgive someone. Please check that out. Where I get into more details on how to forgive, right? That could be used to forgive anyone. Romantic relationship, relationship with colleagues, family, yeah, all relationship. If you want to forgive someone, who to watch that video. The last thing I would say to do is you need to focus on yourself, and you need to just focus on your goals. Focus on achieving your goals. Developing personal autonomy, right? And I mentioned before, I think it's in people pleasing, the type of personal goals we should all have, right? We should all have career goals. I don't know, you want to start a new business. You want to switch career. I don't know what your career goals could be. You want to have multiple streams of income. Everybody should have that goal. You want to do a specific course. You want to go to this webinar. You want to go to the, whatever your career goals are, you should work towards that. You should also have financial goals. You want to make, I don't know, $10,000 a month. Okay. You want, I don't know how much ever money you want to make a year. You should have that goal, financial goals. You should have relationship goals. You want to get married by this age. You want to have children by this age. Or you know what you want from the relationship that you're in now. You should have health goals. You want to lose this amount of weight. Or you just want to be healthy, exercise, You have this disease you want to overcome, work on that. You have a physical disability, pain in some area that you know you need to work on, that you know you need to go to physical therapy, do that. You should have self-development goals. You want to be better at public speaking. That would be one of my goals. You want to improve vocabulary. You want to have more reasoning skills. You want to know how to resolve conflict. You want to be more empathetic. You want to be more loving, spiritual, whatever, religious, whatever self-development goals you have, you should work on that. You should also have experience goals, which I don't think I mentioned before, but experience goals. Maybe you want to travel to Europe. You want to travel to this specific country. Or it might not be like travel. It could just be a simple concert that you want to go to. Experience goals. You want to visit this museum. You want to hike towards this waterfall. You want to go to the zoo. Do that. Experience goals. You want to go to a historic site or an amusement park or something. You have these goals. You should work on them. Experience goals. Self-development goals. Health goals. Relationship goals, financial goals, career goals. All of these goals you should be working on. You need to focus on all of these, right? So that is the video on mother wound. We talk about what is a mother wound. Talk about different situations that cause this wound. You know, critical mother, dismiss your emotions, or she was unempathetic to you, emotionally unavailable to you. Talk about the consequences of this happening in your upbringing. You lack self-esteem, you lack emotional awareness, you don't have empathy, you are callous, you are cold-hearted, you could be like unconcerned about other people's suffering, lack empathy, you could lack identity right now, you don't know how to manage emotions, and so on and so forth. Right? And we also mentioned how important it is to have self-esteem and self-confidence and a good self-concept. And I just mentioned how to cope with it. I gave you all the steps, right? So we should all accept our mother. She did not abort you. She brought you into this world, many months, gave birth to you, which is a very difficult process. And she's probably doing her best, and she have her own personal things going on, so we should not judge them too much. We should not put too much expectations on them. Okay, so that's all I have, and see you in the next video.